Hey guys, I just really want to tell you all about this guy, my sweet guy. He wrote me a love letter and super sweet, filled with stories, anecdotes, poems, adventures, like all kinds of things that are meant to like illustrate in one way or another, illustrate like his love for me. Really amazing. Well, let me back up. His friends helped. Like he had some friends help him. So like one friend would write a chunk and like another friend would write a chunk or two or four. So he got some help from his friends, maybe like 40 or more. But all these friends were in perfect communication with him the entire time. So we can rest assured that what he wanted to communicate to me is all there from his friends. So well, let me back up. There's something else. So like some of the friends wrote their chunks in one language, and then some other friends later wrote chunks in a different language. And there are a couple chunks that are in a third language. If there are more languages, then I can't remember right now. But I know about the three. So some different friends came along later and were like, yo, like Kelsey speaks English, so we need to translate. We need to like, we can contribute to this and translate so that Kelsey can understand better this love letter from her guy. So, they get together and are working on translating, but that some things don't perfectly translate, right? Like from one language to another. Some certain meanings don't quite, translate perfectly. So like they had these councils where they meet together and decide, let's translate this sentence this way and this word that way. And there were also, things like, oh, let's insert this word because it helps it make a little more sense. But then like other friends would be like, no, let's not insert that word there. Let's insert this other word in this different spot, depending on how they thought I should understand that sentence from him or that paragraph from him, or but everyone was in perfect communication with my guy about the different translations they were doing, right? Don't think about it. My guy has it under control. So sweet. So yeah, so there was that. There were also a few councils of friends held where they would meet together and talk about the chunks that earlier friends had written. And, they'd look at one chunk and be like, all right, we think Kelsey should read this included in the love letter, but we don't really think that this other chunk over here should be included for Kelsey in this love letter, right? So they would like include this chunk and that chunk, but like, cut another chunk here and there, depending on what they came up with in these councils about this. But they were also in perfect communication with my guy, right? Because the earlier friends were in perfect communication when they wrote it, And the slightly later friends were in perfect communication when they would, choose to include and exclude certain chunks. And then later friends were in perfect communication about how to translate either this way or that way. And then when even later friends would cut different chunks, they were in perfect communication too with him. Right? Yeah. Just so sweet. The sweetest. So it's a pretty long love letter. And there's some fascinating stuff in there. There are military conquests that are that tell about like things that either happened historically or they didn't happen historically. They're more of like to teach a lesson type of thing. So yeah. And in these stories, in a lot of them, it shows the heroes going in and unaliving men, women, children, infants, livestock of whole towns. It's just so sweet. Oh, except a lot of times the young virgin women would survive. They would be kept alive and taken other places. But not because they're property or anything. Like, don't even go there. Like, it's just because